Good morning. Can you hear me? Right. First of all, thank you very much for inviting me to talk today. Any of you here around 20 or 21 years old? Age? 21. Right. Of course, yes. Right. It was 1978. I was in Japan. It said, who want to go to the new Providence called Home Church to England? I mean, England means Great Britain, right? But those days, England is, for me, my understanding is every part of, like Wales and Scotland and Northern Ireland, is everything a part of England, I thought. So I raised hands and I want to be the first to land in this country. So here we are. We got all the information. We got one-way tickets to come to England, only for 3 months, we are told. And then Father is there already waiting here in Lancaster Gate. So we took 2 days to come. Normally around 8 hours, I think. But those days, we must be very cheap tickets. First, we went to Hong Kong and Anchorage, and then Cairo, and Paris, and London. We are totally exhausted. First group was around, not quite sure now, my memory is not good now, maybe around 12 or 13 of us. And we landed at famous airport called Heathrow Airport. So hooray, we at last took ages to arrive here. So we are just queuing up for the immigration. Then first person caught by immigration, and then we are like everybody got sleeping bag in a suitcase. Half of the suitcase is sleeping bag, and then Divine Principle book, True Parents picture, address 44 Lancaster Gate. We have only $100 each of us. So we are all asked to go to a special place to be asked questions. And then, obviously, that time here in England, they knew very well about our name, so-called Moonies. And then, how could you live only $100 for 3 months, So we are just all put aside. And then we ran Lancaster Gate, and then that time leader was Mr. Ohm. So he came and tried to negotiate all day long. We are so thirsty and hungry, waiting what's happening. But unfortunately, that day, we all have to be deported. So we all sent to the detention center. And then, obviously, we are so hungry, right? Didn't eat anything at the airport, just waiting anxiously, little room. And then they says, if you have a dinner if you like, before you go to the own, cell. And then everybody obviously went to eat dinner, except me. I have absolutely devastated. How is possible came all the way to attend God's providence, to meet true parent, true father for first time in my life of faith. So everybody went. So I went by myself to my own cell, and the obviously officer locked me in. And then that night I had a dream of Father. He says, "Don't worry." Says, what does it mean? Don't worry, we are on the way to be deported back to Japan without landing here in this country to do your work. I was absolutely desperate. How is it possible to escape from this situation? But Father said, don't worry, what does it mean? I have to think. And then anyway, next morning, the officer came, opened our cell, and then said, we are first 3 seats is available, sent back to France, Paris. And then they found out everybody got diarrhea, except me. Of course, I didn't eat. So officer choose worst person, worst diarrhea, and next, and I'm the one to look after them. So we are three of us, first airplane, got on an airplane and landed in Paris, Charles de Gaulle. So absolutely, there's no way to get out of this situation. If we are just following this fate, we end up back to Japan. So I was desperate. As soon as we landed in Paris, the policeman, French policeman, was waiting with smile, big smile. Welcome to Paris. This way, please. So, still Paris is not far from London. So, if I have to do something here, my destiny is ruined. So, I really begged, almost like grabbing him, please. We came all the way from Japan, took ages, and now we have to go back straight away. Please give me 1 day. We want to do, touring here. Please give me 1 day visa. So I was in tears and screaming, please. I was really, I have to do something. This is the only I can do. So officer says, all right. And they gave us a visa just for 1 day. So we quickly, before he changed mind, we quickly collect our luggage and get out of the airport. And then I rang Lancaster Gate, and this reason we couldn't get in. And then if we come now, it's be too dangerous to come back. So just wait until all the other brothers and sisters arrive from Japan. So I was waited anxiously in Paris. But meanwhile, of course, I did witnessing every day all by myself. But after those days, we don't have any, mobile phone or computer. So that was a really lucky thing. We came such a long time ago. And so I made a new passport, and then I shouldn't come to Heathrow Airport. I have to go through Dover. So I got a one-way ticket to London. So asked so many people how to get Dover, how to get to the boats, a little poor English those days. Of course, not much perfect nowadays. But so I thought, because those days, no Japanese at all, 1978, really, even this country is a peak of depression. So many people, unemployment. So I look for the English people on the boats. If I get to know a person and then come together, maybe easier to get in. I thought maybe he can help me or she can help me. So I met a businessman, and then says, here, I'm a first time, please help me when I go to immigration. Says, okay, no problem. So anyway, so in that sense, he helped me, as I'm not strangers, So when I arrived in the Victoria Station, I didn't have any money to go to Lancaster Gate because I didn't have any sterlings. So, oh gosh, so I had like a fundraising, I stopped the lady, can you spare me some money? So I don't have any, sterling. I just arrived from France, and they say, of course, yeah, here you are, you have money to, for a telephone call and the underground. I was so, wow, it's amazing to give me money, even though I'm a stranger. Because when I was in France, it's totally different stories, Even you ask it, they just ignore you. So when I arrived in England, wow, incredible, their Christianity, their attitude, just so beautiful. So when I arrived at Lancaster Gate, that station, I don't know which way is a Lancaster Gate. So I was wandering around with a heavy suitcase, and the 3 Vietnamese girls approached me. They said, can I help you? And then I said, I want to go to Lancaster Gate. Yes, we know Lancaster Gate. We visited there. Wow, really? Yes, the so-called international group is there. They're helping us to invite for the dinner. So, oh, wow, great. So I eventually arrived here. It took a long time. So, of course, everybody has arrived, and then the Providence has started already, and the father spoke already about the meaning of home church, and they all, spent together with father, and then they did sightseeing. So when I arrived here, it was empty here, absolutely empty, nobody here, because they are middle of the 40-day home church activities. So I went to the office, and then he says, as if nothing happened. Oh, yeah, you can go there. Just like that, on the map on the wall, you can go there. So when I look, it said Edinburgh. I said, where is Edinburgh? Oh, you can catch the coach and go to this. Oh, gosh, that's all. What is meaning of coach? I didn't understand. So you can imagine my level of English is so poor. So anyway, eventually I found out it means bus. So I went to the Victoria coach station. And then when I queue up, eventually I got to buy the ticket. Says, sorry, all ticket is sold out for a couple of weeks, no ticket. Says, oh my gosh, how on earth this happened? Oh, because it was the summertime, there's a Scottish international festival. So I says, oh my gosh, my life is always prolonging, long, like a Moses course, Must be some meaning. I have to go always around and circle. So eventually, some man says, oh, you can go to Birmingham, and then go to Newcastle, and then go to Edinburgh. I think it took nearly 2 days as well. Asking, I hope I will arrive on my mission cities. So eventually I arrived. So obviously when I arrived in Edinburgh, only one brother was there. So I was totally exhausted, didn't have money to buy food or anything. So said, please let me rest before you give me any mission place. So I lay down for maybe 1 hour in pantry, pantry where you keep food in the kitchen, because you're not allowed to sleep here because this is a public place. And so I slept in the pantry room, and then when I woke up after maybe 1.5, so you can go there, this is your home church area. Just like that, no explanation. Very kind. So that's my life anyways. So you go there. Oh, by the way, I was 21 that time, 21 years old. That's why I ask you, anybody, you are 21? So I was 21 years old. A little poor English, and so I arrived there, and then he says, here, you can go to Murrayfield. Now very famous for football ground, Murrayfield, but I don't know where it is, on earth it is. So first of all, I had to buy the map. So I just went out to the office. Oh, by the way, we are in the middle of 40 days. You're not allowed to come back to the office. What? So I had to carry my sleeping bag. I went to the street, says, I had to buy a map. So I asked the one person, could you tell me where the stationery shop? And he replied something very unusual language, which I never heard. And so I asked the man, can you speak English to the Scots person? So you can imagine how. I said, oh my gosh, I thought they speak English, I thought here. So I said, can you speak English, please? He was so angry, red face. I said, what have I said? Did I say something wrong? Anyway, eventually I found the map, and then I got strong headache, so I had to go buy the medicine now. I asked the lady, where is the chemist? She said, oh, you can go to the Boots. She says, no, I don't want to buy Boots. I want to buy medicine. You see, that's the level I was, you see. I have total ignorance, and they speak so-called Scottish, right, which I never heard. So what? So anyway, next person asked you, how can I get this area, Murrayfield? You can walk. So really? It seems to be far. Oh, no. So you can walk. And I walk. I said, still not there. It took 1 hour to get there. Oh my gosh, so I was carrying a sleeping bag, no idea what means a home church. I just go there and knock the door and ask for gardening. You can say, can I do gardening or something? That's that's only information I got from that brother in the office. So you can imagine, absolutely nothing, no information. So I just knock some person, first door, but I don't know what to say. And then I'm Japanese, I just arrived. And then for a few pauses, I don't know what to say next. Then I said, oh, I came here to learn the Christianity. So, because although I'm a Christian, I have no idea about history, so I came here, this country, to learn Christianity. That was some kind of wisdom came to me. And then I'm looking for a place to stay tonight. I came to learn Christianity, but I came to looking for some place to stay. So it's a very contradiction, isn't it? So can you imagine, what? But that was my first mission, to find a place that I can't go back. So I literally believe everything what he said. That was the Father's direction, okay? So I was knocking next door, same say, I came here to learn Christianity, but today I need some place to stay. Maybe they thought I'm a homeless or something. I was getting asleep, and eventually toward getting dark, in Scotland, and then one Christian family, oh, please stay here, don't worry about bedroom, I have a sleeping bag. So I slept in the living room. That's how I started the so-called home church, without understanding of deeper meaning, of significant meaning. But I was in the middle of the 40 days, so anyway, I have to do something. And so far, all we did was a street witnessing in Japan, talking to Indians. Never visit door-to-door kind of witnessing. But eventually, after finishing home the half of the 40 days, I went back to the center, and then first time I hear about what Father said. Father says, home church is a place you do the service, but no matter how many negative people, you have to serve without complaint. So if you ever still not heartily involved in service, very, very hard, isn't it? So what you have to do is you go from outside, like a gardening. That's the first thing you do. That was the Father's direction. Then once they invite you into the house, you do other things like a painting or, babysitter, or no matter what. This is a home church, is a ground. 360 is a circle, right? That represents a cane type of your tribe, right? We have to involve. But this is very important. It is a meaning. First of all, the home church is so many people live, and all different people have different character, right? And then different profession, and then so we are here, one person in 360 degrees. You have to serve, even clean their garbage bin. That's what they said, what Father said. Truly you serve. Service, by serving, you are paying indemnity, or you can grow. Truly you can grow. This is a place where you can grow. Life of faith. In desperate situation, you meet God. So first, of course, you visit all 360 homes, and then write it down. Who is the first 3 negative families, right? And then next, and next, so and so. And then in the beginning, I couldn't understand why we have to visit negative people. Obviously, these days, if you constantly visit, they will call you police, right? But amazing, nobody did. amazing. Must be so annoying. Every day we're visiting, knocking doors, and they just slam the door on your face. Of course, first, even you said, I came from Japan, Christianity. I came to do some community work. And then in the beginning, in the negative people just wouldn't even open the door, right? But I have to do something, right? To stir the area. I have to do something. So that time, Father created a musical group called Goa Brass Band. So I thought I had to make some noise spiritually, but also physical sound, yeah? So I asked them to come to my area to make a noise, music, you know? Not noise, music. So through that, maybe that I want to do some stirring in my area and move the spirit world so somehow, otherwise just nobody open. My area is extremely rich. They have their own gardener, so I can't do anything. They have their own cleaner, right? Says, what can I do in my rich area? Because, you know, from the gate to their entrance, you have to walk for a while, right? That huge, almost everybody got 5 or 6 bedroom houses, really, really rich area. So first, I thought, I must go in. How can I go into their house to do something? So first, I invited the music group to do the music in my street, and then just let them know who I am. Here I am. I came here to serve in your area. So a few people, what's going on? What's going on? Some people come up from the house. Oh, I'm here. I'm doing this and that. That way, bit by bit, spread. And then the next day, I thought maybe everybody know now after all the music we played. So still people won't open the door. So I didn't know why, because I didn't say who I am, anything. Why they are so already negative? And then one lady, I don't like Japanese. My husband was treated so badly, a prisoner of war. He was, and then he died. So that kind of information I never heard in Japan. So, that is a reason. Why? I thought, I didn't say who I am, or which religion or anything. So I have to go through that different level, you know. So anyway, if that's the case, somehow I have to apologize to them, you know, as a representative, because they look at me as a Japanese, a whole Japan behind me, you see. So no matter what, I have to knock on the door and then say, how are you today, you know, through the door. I knew they are in, because I saw, you know, all curtains open, peeking. So I thought, without, of course, every day was a struggle. Says, I almost giving up my life, my faith. Says, maybe God doesn't help me. So I thought, if nothing happened, I will pack and go back to Japan. I thought myself, I was so young and so ignorant, and then say, what am I doing here? Meaningless, you know. I was really struggle. So I just continue every day, and then anyway, I have to do something, because without doing any service in the area, maybe nothing will happen. So I start washing a car without asking any permission, and start washing people's car. Otherwise, nothing. What can I do? So I start washing a car, and then someone called the police. Says, didn't you know you have to get permission before you do washing? No, I don't. I didn't know. I'm so sorry. So I said, oh no, I don't want to think this thing become bigger. You know, maybe a neighbor will looking at me. Police is there, you know. So he came with a big hose. You know, I said, wow, what a wonderful hose you have. I have to change subject. She said, can I ride on it? Well, I had to change subject, because otherwise, you know, many people come and then see what's happening, you know. And then he said, okay, you can go. So I could sit on the hose. So you see, so that's it. I had to change completely the situation. And then said, don't do it again. You ask permission. Okay, thank you, officer. Thank you very much. So that's how I did in the beginning, you know. And then eventually, after maybe, I don't know, 3 months after everyday visits, after 3 months, yeah, I met a family. Says, oh, you are from Japan. And then he said, come in, tell me all about it. What are you doing here? And then I explained, oh, we came here to learn Christianity, and then by serving, we want to learn about your way of life. He says, oh, I see. And then this is a kind of core families. And then from that families that she come out with me in my area. So, oh, this lady want to do service. Do you have anything to be done? So through her, I beginning to get a so-called job, voluntary job. I start doing gardening and painting and changing wallpaper, which I learned through mistakes, of course, and then babysitting, and then, you know, all sorts of things. So that's getting settled into get to know people. Always, every day I'm in an area, and then stay there. So eventually, once you start it, you have to have your own service in your area. So first, we 3 families used to come to this lady's house. So we did Sunday service, and then all the activities we discussed. And eventually, that lady says, "What made you drive to do this kind of activity? I never heard of such activity you're doing." Says, "Oh, well, if in that case, would you like to come to our Sunday service?" So she brought all our families, and then I cooked around 50 people in our Sunday service from different home church area. And then we really, from that point, we are also middle of the really, in this country, we've been attacked very badly about Daily Mail newspaper, one of the biggest newspaper, I think oldest maybe. So these families have a big families. She got many brothers and sisters, and then her parents. So the father used to be the Royal Guard here in Scotland, I think, and then he volunteered to come down to speak in the courtroom and testify basically my activities in my home church area. Says, all the bad news you hear, but we know these people are a bunch of fresh young people only doing service in our area. Because through that, somehow the spirit or some kind of barrier breaks through. And then through her, we start work, because she was representing a leukemia research representative in Scotland. Through her, we meet all the famous peoples. And then I'm sure David Mine's there. He knows very well. He was one of a group team. So from that, we did a lot of PR work as well as fundraising. We did all brothers and sisters involved to do fundraising to raise money, and it was in a newspaper article as well. So things expand. And then after that, when we finish, and then middle of the activities, I got a telegraph from Japan. That's my grandmother is critical condition, because grandmother brought me up like my own mother. So for me, it's such a struggle. I want to fly back immediately to meet her on deathbed, but we have to love Cain first. That kind of situation, like a 360 home church is a Cain tribe, right? And then before we go into the Abel, your own tribe, you have to lay foundation to truly love through service. So I was really down. It tested so much. So I was crying for 3 days in the prayer room. I couldn't do anything because I love her so much. It means I didn't love people enough, more than my grandmother, that kind of test. So after 3 days, I have a dream. That was my grandmother came, says, Suzuko, don't worry. You're doing a good job. You do. No point to come back. You just continue what you're doing. Like this. And then next day, my home church lady came. I'm sure your grandmother knows what you're doing. She will forgive you. It's like a similar content, you know. So from that point, and that lady wrote a letter to my parents, you know, please don't think bad about her because she's doing such a good job. It's a kind of testimony, like a God is really helping in spite of such a difficult situation. I was really struggling, you know. I want to really go back and say goodbye at least, because I didn't even talk about God to her. But first I have to love this place, otherwise I can't go back. I knew it, but that was a struggle. But through that home church lady, she really encouraged me to carry on, to bring back to my life of faith and that struggle. And after that, second 40 days began in a home church. In that time, we have to go to the different city, not Edinburgh, but we have to go outside. So that next second 40 days was completely different area. My Edinburgh was extremely rich area, but the place I got called Livingston, I don't know if you ever heard of a named place, absolutely deprived area, absolutely. I said, within these second 40 days, sisters can stay bed and breakfast or hotel, but my area, absolutely nothing such a things. People are forgotten people are there. First home, I had to find a place to stay. So first house I knocked, the 5 years old, maybe 4 or 5 years old boy came up the door. He was completely drunk. And the father came, they are both drinking. Can you imagine how deprived that area is? So, and that night, nobody offered me a place to stay. So I went to the field. There was still building site, and there is a sewer pipe on the field. You know that big sewer pipe? Of course it's clean. This maybe 2 meters long. So I thought, lucky because it was raining, so at least I can sleep here tonight. So I slept, but you know, the concrete is very cold, so I took all the tree branches and put inside and lay on, and put a sleeping bag on there. And in the middle of the night, I hear the voice. All the drunk people walking toward. I was absolutely scared to death. Of course, I was just laying there all night, didn't sleep. Said, next day I must find a place at least, otherwise I can't concentrate my work. So, but still can't find it. So slept in some person's garden, because most of people's garden is a bush, that high. So if you lay there, no one can see, right? So that was the second night. Oh my gosh, I must find some place. And then I can do my work. And then third day, I found a place, but that was single mother's home, 3 girls, maybe 3, 5, 6 years old girls, 3 of them. So at least I can sleep here tonight. So thank you so much. And then I left all my luggage there and I went out and knocking door to help doing something. And when I came back, all my luggage was open. So I said, lucky nothing is, important, valuable. All I have is a sleeping bag. They must be disappointed anyway. So through that, whenever offer some service, they are so happy. So every day I was doing, you can't do gardening because it's so high. I had to use big shears, So my finger is all blood, like this. And the end of day says, I can't just do like this. Then I remember Father says, service, but shouldn't expect anything. You have to serve them, because this home church is representing, restore the Jesus. We killed Jesus on the cross. Also indemnify. And his mortification is so great. He came here to fulfill his mission, but couldn't. So we are small, individual, but we are representing to fulfill, to restore back. That's why by serving, but don't just serve, but from really deep hearts, until people recognize what you're doing. That is a point. Once they recognize and give you the prize, award, if you are half-heartedly or hypocrite, then nobody will recognize your work. So that is a real test for individual, each one of us, to test truly we serve them. Even gardening, no complaint, just do it. So my 40-day was just this years. And then toward end, I met the spiritualist. Before that, okay, I have to do something. So I visited a church, one church in this city. So I visited. As soon as I visited, there's announcements in front of, before the service. Please be careful this morning. There's one moon is here. What? How do they know I'm mooning? So please do not contact or speak even after the service. So obviously I couldn't speak to anybody after service. Anyway, so I thought I had to visit her. So next day I visited minister's house. So excuse me, but she wouldn't open the door, obviously. And they said, excuse me, are you Christian, right? I said, I felt so sad. Without you knowing me, as a human, how could you do that kind of, information you gave yesterday? And then Jesus said we have to forgive them, even if you think I am your enemy. And I was talking over the door. Everyone can hear on the street. And then eventually she opened the door. She was ill in bed, high temperature. And then obviously she apologized in the end. But the rumor spread. It becomes so difficult to even open the door next day. Nobody wanted, because, we hear, because the rumor spread so quickly because only one church. Huh? So I says, okay, even they wouldn't even give me now doing a gardening. So I thought, oh no, what to do now? The rest of my 40 days. So I thought, I'll try to find out who is doing a voluntary work in this area. So I visited a lady, and she says, oh, you forget it. This area, no matter what you do, nobody appreciates you. Of course, I knew that, but that's not a point. I want to do something with you. She says, oh, no, I gave up a long time ago because I involved so much, my husband left me. So that idea is lost. So I says, what do I have to do until end of 40 days? Now everybody think I'm a kind of demon or something, because they think the rumor spread that I'm taking money from all these old pensions. He says, wow, amazing, rumor is amazing, So I was just trottering in the streets, what to do, counting how many days left. You see, heart is not there anymore. So, and then I met a lady. She says she's a spiritualist. So anyway, my last hope. So I went there. Maybe I can find some other way to do. And then that time, I couldn't stay that family anymore because the situation get worse and worse. So she says, oh, you can stay in my house. You can look after my dog because they're going holiday. So they gave me keys straight away that night. Can you imagine? How can you trust me? Huh? So the rest of my 40 days, I think around 2 weeks, I stayed there looking after dog and then going out, do more gardening. So that was a second tough 40 days. But you learn in desperate situation, you learn so much about how God is protecting me in spite of such a dangerous situation, sleep roughly outside. Anything could be happen, right? So after I went back, and then we are giving testimonies. Everybody starts giving testimony, and most of the people stay in the bedroom breakfast. I found out later. But that's it. That was me. That was how I did. But then continue to your own home church area, and then through one of the negative ladies, she must so fed up. I'm knocking every day, right? So says, just come in then, what you want? She says, well, I don't want anything. I just want to do something in your area. If you need me to help something, says, no, you don't know. My husband is treated by Japanese so badly. So I apologized to her after listening all her stories. And I apologized how ignorant I was. And then she was in tears, and I was in tears as well. And then, after, didn't develop after that so much, but I felt so much comfort from God to like a kind of resolve, certain kind of resentment. And then that's it. That's the kind of work we have to really, truly, even before, every time sometimes people are so negative, they throw me water. I say, Mooney, go away, like that. Or even Jap, go home, like that. So, but even then I says, oh, God bless you, like that. One morning, one of my negative lady came up with dog early morning around 8 o'clock, maybe taking her dog out for a walk. So good opportunity, now I can talk to her. I crossed the road, want to say good morning. And she recognized me, I'm coming toward her. She immediately picked the dog up and went back inside. I said, oh my gosh, like that. But anyway, still have to be positive, no matter what. That is the key. Without complaint. Once you complain, all your work is lost. So no matter what, you shouldn't complain, just serve. That is a key for the victory, for success. And then when I was staying, that lady, most positive lady, she gave me key. No, actually, I was ill that day because, when you spiritually go down, your physical body go down same time, right? So I was staying in bed with temperature, and then everybody went out. I was alone, and then that home church lady came with husband, says, I didn't see you in my area today. What's happening? He said, well, I'm ill in bed. So what? Is anyone cooking for you? No, I'm alone. Okay, we'll come to pick you up. So they came with a full of blankets, so they take me home. So ever since, I stayed their house until the end. And then first, of course, I was sleeping bag on the floor. And then a couple months later, oh, no, you can sleep on the sofa beds we bring from the living room. So you see, level up from floor to the couch. And then next day, a couple of weeks later, I became ill, and then said, I used to share the bedroom with their daughter. So they told her daughter to sleep on the couch, and I should be on her bed. So third level up, from floor, couch, bed. And then I said, wow. And then next So you coming, our anniversary is coming, I want you to come with us. You see, like this. So first time I went to eat outside restaurant in my entire life. So first time, beautiful Scottish meal. And then next summer came and they took me to the holidays. So I became really their daughters, you know, from the bottom to daughter, you know. That was just everybody, obviously, all brothers and sisters always go out with all white overall, with shovel or a fork, you know, to the gardening. But I'm now different level. I dress up and go to the parties, birthday parties, wedding, and also one of the home church lady passed away, so I went to funeral. First time in my life I went to funeral. So at the funeral, nobody crying, only me crying loud. And then the wife, you know, was late husband that passed away. She was shocked. I'm the only one crying at the graveyard. So, and ever since she opened her heart, because I was truly sad, because he's such a good man. I used to visit him every day. How are you? You know, we was talking about many stories. And then at his funeral, nobody cried. So cool. I was so surprised. English, Scottish funeral is so, you know, not sad. So maybe they felt very awkward. I'm the only one crying so loud in a quiet graveyard. So you can imagine. So after that, they have a son, similar age as me. So he starts coming to church. And then, you know, through that, the gate is beginning to open. So we had a big Day of Hope festival in my area. So a lot of people came and Goa brass bands play. And yeah, one time we had a big rally in Edinburgh City. Maybe David was there, I'm not sure. It was absolutely thunder, pouring rain. I said, oh, nobody will come. Everybody's so depressed. So we organized everything, food and everything. And then suddenly people start to arrive. 100. In spite of this thundery weather, that was really miracle, you know. And then as soon as that, one of my lady, home church lady, organized a Scottish Highland dance with bagpipe. You know Scottish bagpipe? Really go into your ears, right? Sorry, David. And then sabotage began. Someone pressed the alarm, fire alarm, you know, so that people will escape, isn't it? But lucky, thanks to bagpipe, similar sound. Sorry. Bagpipe and the alarm is very similar. So we quickly find and then stop the alarm, and then entertainment just carry on. That was absolute miracle, you know. So yeah, that's how we did a home church. Each one of us, we learned so much what is exactly serving help us to grow. Because we really come to the edges. You and God only, nobody else. You're alone in an area. You know, maybe some of you have experienced this. So through that, you have a solid foundation, right? And then no matter what kind of wind come, storm come, weather come, you are solid, yeah? Unmovable, faith, foundation. Then after a few years' time, hometown the Providence begin, which is a tribal messiahship. So when you start doing tribal messiahship, no matter how negative your tribe is, but you have already foundation, no matter what, and now you know how to serve. And the people constantly you serve, people will change, will open up our heart, which is amazing, absolutely amazing. We saw it, we witnessed the people will change. If you truly serve them, truly love them, yeah? Have to be very humble and then show your interest to observe, you know, to love. So through that, I thought, while I was there, we are called to go to New York for the marching. So suddenly I disappeared from my home church area. So they are wondering what's going on. And then I went to New York, but I couldn't get in because I got a visa problem here in this country. Although I missed one point, because when I was working in Edinburgh, the Home Office came and gave me 1 week warning to leave this country because they found out I came and I had a record. I was rejected in 1978, so I have to leave within 1 week. Luckily, through my home church contact, she knows a member of the House of Lords, Lord Hamilton in Edinburgh. So she wrote a letter to him, and he sent a letter to immigration. So I got 1 year visa through him. So you just never know how things work, isn't it? Yeah. So, but after that, the 1 year, but but they have a record, 1978 record. So they found out where I live in Edinburgh. That's why I got 1 year visa. And then when I went to New York, all the brothers and sisters went from here for the matching, but I'm the only one held in New York immigration. Once again, immigration problem. So I have to do the same method I did in France. Please, in tears, I was desperate to receive matching, right? This time, definitely I must meet Father, right? Because I miss here, so I had to meet. So my desperation was stronger than before. So that method worked. So they gave me 3 days visa at immigration, much later. So when I arrived in a New York hotel, there's no more, apparently, all Japanese was matched immediately as soon as they arrived. So when I arrived there, that Mr. Abe was that time national leader here, he asked me to go front. Can you imagine? I just arrived. How can I go in front of people? People are waiting already for matching. So I said, I was so bad going front. So, So anyway, slowly I went in very front. As soon as I sat on the front, Father came. I know we are not allowed to look directly Father, but first time in my life, I had to look right. In the beginning, I said, if I match, I don't want to be in this country, I don't want to be this country. I have a kind of attitude I have. And then Father says, oh, and I say, are you Korean? He says, oh, no, I'm not Korean. I'm Japanese. I wanted to answer back, but Mr. Abe spoke on behalf. Anyway, so Father said twice, oh, I'm sorry, Japanese, all finished. I came, desperate. And then, I don't mind anybody now. And then Father said, oh, I'm sorry, all Japanese finished. I said, oh, no. I was absolutely devastated. All my life of faith is like going to the bed. I said, what have I done wrong? And they said, okay, come then, follow me, he said. So I was just standing behind Father. He says, who wants this Japanese sister? Like you're on the market, selling things. And surprisingly, a few hundred brothers was just every single people without their eyebrows on. I was shocked. Is it really happening? So that's how I matched. But after that, I was supposed to stay in America. Our mission is America. But obviously, I had a visa problem, so I have to go back to Japan. So I was prepared to go back to America, but I got a telephone call from England. You must come back to England. Or Scotland. Because they need you. So, says, no, but Father says we have to go work in America. No, don't worry, I will speak to Father, he said. So I came back again here Scotland. So my home church activity continued here in Edinburgh. So that was my time in Edinburgh. Through that, when Mother came to Edinburgh to speak, one of my home church lady gave her flowers to Mother. So that was really very meaningful time I have. So now, like when I go back to Japan, you know, what I feel? Homesick to Scotland. Unusual, isn't it? Everyone says, don't you feel homesick? But never. I said, as soon as I arrived in Japan, I said, homesick. Such a new experience, you know. I really love Scotland. It's my second home country, you know. So that much, without knowing, for the years I spent in Scotland, it's part of me. I shouldn't say I invested, but I just follow what Father said. And then, but now I feel like no matter what. So when I visited my husband's parents, they're extremely negative, right? But here I come, because I have experience with all the negative people. I was here, I was so happy to challenge, you know, in a way. I wasn't afraid of anything. So what I did, just serve. So first place I went to the kitchen, of course, and start preparing a cup of tea for them. And they hate me because I'm Japanese. And then second hate because I'm moony. Everything is bad place. But I went by myself all the way from Scotland. Can you imagine? My husband was in America at that time. So I went all the way from Scotland by coach. So I don't know how many hours I was in the coach. So as soon as I arrived, that's the treatment I received. She was saying, oh, we don't have to do anything. You know, like we can just get takeaway if she's hungry, like kind of attitude. But I stayed 3 days because the husband was a bit, not disabled, but difficult balancing, walking. So when we're going out, I ask him to sit on a chair. I put his shoes. I tie knot. And then, amazing, he really impressed. I think I don't like Reverend Moon, but one thing he did, good thing, he chose very good wife for your son. That's the only good thing he did. Chose good wife. So, yeah, that's amazing. I didn't expect anything for return, but continuation of my home church, right? So whatever we do, most important thing is second generation. My parents was negative, so when I took my son when he was 3 years old, they melted, absolutely melted. You know why? Because immediately he showed love to the parent, the grandparents, isn't it? And then tried to speak Japanese, which I never taught him, but always showing and engaging. So that second generation is a key for the tribal messiahship, I thought. Because through that, they can see us, right? Of course, easy to be nasty towards your own children, but grandchildren is different. So I thought, work with families, with children is a key for even my whole tribe, when I went back, all the uncles and auntie, they knew all the negativity. You know, in Japan it's so severe, but through, second generation children, they melted, no matter what the media said. You know, even I had a terrible relationship with my sister. We really hate each other so much. Just, you won't believe it. Even eye contact, she screamed, right? We used to share the room, but we argued so much. My mother made me curtain between the room. That much we hate each other, 1 year different. But that day, in the night, she spoke to me why I hate you all my life. Because I'm eldest, and always parents compare me and her, right? But my son was there. We started to cry by talking each other. And then my son, 3 years old, he brought tissue box from the living room, give it to her, and give it to me. And then we are crying. He doesn't know what's happening. He's constantly giving tissue. We are throwing those. And absolutely, she absolutely melted. I understand now. I know you now through our son. I know you. She forgave me all the things in the past. Now she really respects. So now she's reading autobiography. So, and then a few years, time is okay, yes? Right. So maybe another occasion, or privately, how I overcame my relationship with my mother. That was an extremely sour situation. But anyway, I hope through my little, they call me little Japanese lassie, wee lassie, spoke to you today about my experience. I hope you can understand how even such a small individual, God's been guiding and loving me until today. I've been here for 40 years now in this country. So I hope you understand even a little bit. Yes? Thank you very much for your patience. I hope you understand me a little bit. Okay. Thank you very much, our beloved Heavenly Parents. We gather together here on Sunday morning. Through sharing my experience, I hope brothers and sisters can understand how you love each one of us. Each one of us is so precious in your eyes. You are real children who can comfort you and to represent your love through living life of serving. This is a key, fundamental attitude we should have in our daily life toward neighbors or toward our own families. Heavenly Parent, thank you so much this great opportunity you've given me today to share this work here in Great Britain. Thank you so much. I want to offer this, close this service in the name of Suzuko Wood Central Breast Family, Arju.